ತತ್ಸವಿತುರ್ವರೆಣ್ಯಂ ಭರ್ಗೋ ದೇವಸ್ಯ ಧೀಮಹಿ ಧಿಯೋ ಯೋ ನಃ ಪ್ರಚೋದಯಾತ್. ಭೂರ್ಭುವಸ್ಸುವಃ ತತ್ಸವಿತುರ್ವರೆಣ್ಯಂ ಭರ್ಗೋ ದೇವಸ್ಯ ಧೀಮಹಿ ಧಿಯೋ ಯೋ ನಃ ಪ್ರಚೋದಯಾತ್. ಭೂರ್ಭುವಸ್ಸುವಃ ತತ್ಸವಿತುರ್ವರೆಣ್ಯಂ ಭರ್ಗೋ ದೇವಸ್ಯ ಧೀಮಹಿ ಧಿಯೋ ಯೋ ನಃ ಪ್ರಚೋದಯಾತ್.
ಮಹಾಗಣಪತಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಹಾಗಣಪತಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಹಾಗಣಪತಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಹಾಗಣಪತಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಾತಂಗವದನ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಾತಂಗವದನ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಾತಂಗವದನ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ. ಮಾತಂಗವದನ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೇ.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। राम रहीम कृष्ण करीम येशु बुद्ध महावीर। 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 सर्वधर्म प्रिय साई देवाय। 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते रामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते श्यामरूपाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। राम रहीम कृष्ण करीम येशु बुद्ध महावीर। राम रहीम कृष्ण करीम येशु बुद्ध महावीर। सर्वधर्म प्रिय साई देवाय। 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। I am love. I am love. Pure love. Remind my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am home, I am home, eternal. I am home, I am home, eternal. Through this life of distraction and of illusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Through this life of distraction and of illusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. Prema Swarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Ananda Swarupa, He Prema Swarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am love, I am love, pure love. I am love, I am love, pure love. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am home, I am home, eternal Lord. I am home, I am home, eternal Lord. Through this life of distraction and of illusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. In this life of distraction and of illusion, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. I am truth, I am peace, divine bliss. Swarupa, He Prema Swarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. Ananda Swarupa, He Prema Swarupa, remind me, my Lord, who I am. I am love, I am love, pure love. I am love, I am love, pure love. I am love, I am.
मृत्युञ्जयाय नमः मृत्युञ्जयाय नमः मृत्युञ्जयाय नमः मृत्युञ्जयाय नमः त्र्यम्बकाय नमः त्र्यम्बकाय नमः त्र्यम्बकाय नमः
most revered elders, dear brothers and sisters, a very warm and loving Sai-Ram to all of you. But then what is His grace will come when human effort. Swami would often say, right? God's grace comes only with human effort. So human effort and God's grace, that is the lethal combination. Right? That is why even the last shloka in Bhagavad Gita is Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. So Dhanurdhara, actually Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara is human effort, and Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna is divine grace. So where there is a combination of divine grace and human effort, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutir Dhruva Nitir, right? He says that is where victory comes. So, just to answer the question is, so do I have any role to play? Yes, I have to put in all my effort. So that is that is what I need to do on a daily basis. But then you also need the Lord's grace to eventually come and, to do it. So it's a combination. Oh, did it make sense?
Just one more question, then I won't ask any more questions. Take others. So, till that clarity comes, the period of confusion, how do you sustain yourself? I'm not saying in terms of a job or money.
Yeah.
The mind is going to go through a lot of restless agitation.
Absolutely.
Right? Because he's pricked you.
Yes.
Provoked you.
Yes.
In a positive sense. So how do you cope with that?
So confusion is actually a very good thing, sir. And here I would like to give another analogy, and that is where I feel our Shastras and Puranas help us so much, in the Kurma avatar, we know about the Dashavatars, right? The Kurma avatar is all about the Sagar Manthan, right? Which is the churning of the milk ocean, right? And the Mandara Parvat, right? The big mountain, the Mandar mountain is used as a churning, what do you call that? Churning rod, okay, between the forces of evil, which is the Asuras, and the divine forces which are, right? The Devas, right? Do all the children know about the story? The Kurma Avatar story? You know it? So who wins? Who wins at the end?
The Devas.
Right? And what do they get?
They get the nectar.
Wow, yes, the nectar of immortality. Fantastic. Right? But what is the first thing that came out of that when it started? Poison. Right? Now just for a moment, just flip that around, that whole analogy into our own lives. Every moment there is a churning happening inside of us between the good and the bad. Right? Between the Iha and the Para. Between the Para or the Apara, as whatever name you would call it. The secular and the spiritual. Whichever name you call it. The outworldly and the spiritual. I leave it to you. So there's always this churning. And in fact, I would say that the greatest thing that a guru does to us is to start the churning process. Right? If for a long time we were like dormant idiots, right? We were just sleeping till Swami walked into our lives. And oftentimes, this churning process can be such a painful process that oftentimes in my life, and I'll be very candid with you when I say this, I always wonder, Swami, why the hell did you walk into my life? I could have just been a street dog. Barking away and running behind cars. That's what a street dog does, right? It just has the best time in the world. Barking and roaming around wherever it wants. Okay, running behind every car. Okay, in fact, Swami often says that, he often says that you fellows are like dogs. He used to call students like that when he gets angry. Because he says, street dogs, they simply run behind a car. If you actually stop the car and ask, what do you want? It will look, I don't know. It just walks out. Have you ever seen that? In India, especially you come to Patti and try to drive at around 2 a.m. We have done enough of that. The dog, the moment some car comes, full speed it will start running. Okay, and the only way to stop the dog running is you stop. The moment you stop, the dog also stops. And then it just walks off. So you ask, you want to ask, what do you want? I don't know. You were running, so I was running. That's pretty much how we are in this world. This whole world is like a mirage. And we are running behind it with all our strength. And when the whole world stops and asks, what do you want? I'm just a mirage. I don't have anything with me. Oh, okay. I'll run behind something else. Right? So, oftentimes I used to say that, Swami, now you have given me this conscience and you prick me from inside. I can't do anything wrong. Automatically I know that I'm watching you. So sometimes in that utter frustration of, making mistakes, sometimes this stupid thought comes to my mind, right? But that is the churning process. So the moment you a guru walks into your life or you dedicate yourself to a guru, he starts this churning process. Okay. And the beauty of that is that in the first thing that happens in the churning, is hala hala, is poison. You will go through absolute hell in your life. Because, that the discrimination process has started now. Right? Do I do this or do I do this? Do I choose this or do I choose this? Okay. So that is the part where, that poison is coming out. Okay. And unless all of that comes out, you cannot get the nectar of immortality. The first thing that has to come out is the poison. Right? You cannot, and the churning doesn't stop because the poison has come out. Right? But our objective was to get the nectar. So imagine as the nectar is you want the nectar and you're wondering why the hell is poison coming here? Exact opposite of nectar. Right? So when the churning process has started, you're wondering, I wanted something else. I'm getting this. And the only thing is at that time, the Lord comes and becomes a support for you. He becomes the kurma. He becomes that support. He says, no, go on, my child. Go on, I am with you. I am supporting you. You may not see me. Right? Nobody saw the kurma. The Lord just came and became this tortoise under that mountain because the mountain was going down. He just came and became the support for that. Right? So the churning goes on. And guess what? After the hala hala, immediately the nectar doesn't come. After that, all other things come. Right? Kamadhenu came out of that. Kalpavriksha came out of that. Lakshmi herself came out of that churning process. What is the inner significance of this? That once you overcome that initial churn, that that hala hala, then you start to get name, fame. Okay, your spiritual progress has started. Then you will have people like this, and after the talk, you will come and say, "Oh, fantastic, man! You're doing an awesome job." Okay, and then I'll start thinking that, "Wow, I'm actually growing, man." Spiritually, people will come and then take selfies with you. Believe me, that is what happens. Okay, and then the Lord is asking you, are you still focused? This is not what you wanted. You wanted the nectar of immortality. Right? So Lakshmi starts to come to you, wealth comes to you, name, fame comes, whatever you say. So today probably if I say, I want some $10,000. I'm sure some of you will come and say, please take. Lakshmi comes. But that's not the purpose of why I started the churning process. Right? There was only one purpose for starting the churning process. That is for the nectar of immortality. Everything else is byproducts. Everything else is incidental to my journey. But the beauty of this hala hala is that there is someone to drink this hala hala also. I don't have to drink it. Right? If I am able to surrender, Lord, I don't know why this confusion is coming. Lord says, don't worry, that's my job. Right? I will drink the hala hala for you. I will drink the poison for you. Okay, so just let go. You let go of everything. So give up the hala hala, give up the Lakshmi, give up the Kamadhenu, give up the Kalpataru. You focus only on the Amrita, the nectar of immortality that comes out. Right? So I think confusion is a good thing. We just have to thoda aur. And he loves to do that. He loves to see us in confusion. Believe me, like Swami would often, during some of the most darkest moments in our life, as students or dark, I won't say darkest, but some of the most low moments where you actually want him to speak to you physically, that's when he will not speak to you. We will enjoy the closeness, the physical closeness, and when you get the physical closeness, you will get so much of the physical closeness, and you will wonder, what did I do, man? Why are you talking to me every day? You will kind of say, boss, don't talk to me every day. I mean, there are so many others, talk to them. But no, he will come and speak only to you. Okay, and so much so that you will start wondering, why, Swami? Okay, and then a time will come when, troubles start to come into your life. And then you sit in darshan line and he won't look at you. And you will wonder, why did you speak then? Yeah, now I want to speak. But that's not the game. The game is to now, it's like the dream of that person who walked on the sands of time. That there's a very beautiful short story. I was walking on I dreamt, a man dreamt of that walking on the shores of time. Okay, and he saw his entire life, and there were two sets of footprints. Okay, one was mine and one was the Lord's. And then as I saw that during the most difficult moments of my life, there was only one set of footprints. And so I cried out to God saying, Lord, why did you desert me during my, my tough times? And the Lord says, you fool, I was actually carrying you. Those are my footprints. Those are my footprints. I was carrying you on my shoulder. Okay, when you are going through that. So we are not capable of doing, to understand His divine design. But rest assured, full faith, full trust that, He is the one who's carrying us all the time. Yeah. So have that faith, and whatever confusion and all that will just disappear, just like the clouds go and the sunlight starts to shine brightly.
I have a question. So, what do you do exactly when you are confused? Because pretty much every day we all get confused at some point or other. So, do you just drop everything and pray, or write a letter, or what do you do?
I would say it's like, it's whatever you're comfortable with. So see, this is sadhana. Unfortunately, it's not cut, copy, paste. Because you can't copy paste my sadhana. Okay, so and even I can't do that. I also cannot copy paste your sadhana. You need to find that, and that is probably the only thing that you need to do as a sadhana. Find that with which you can go closer. We used to go to Badrinath. In fact, this is the first year that I have not gone to the Himalayas, because often in my vacation, I go to the Himalayas, because I had got instructions from Swami in a dream to visit Himalayas every year. So when we used to go to Himalayas, especially to Badrinath, there was one Hanuman Baba there, and in fact there are so many Swamijis there. So what we do is we generally go for a trek, like a hike. So as we are hiking, on the way you will find so many Swamijis, So just stand and talk to some Swamiji, So oftentimes what used to happen is, there is one in Badrinath especially, there is one Hanuman Baba. So as soon as you reach the Badrinath temple, look on the left hand side. Thank you so much. Thank you. Look on the left hand side, and you will find right on the top of the mountain, you will find one ashram with one red flag. Okay, so that is Hanuman Baba. He's called Hanuman Baba because he propitiates Hanuman. And very small cave. He has two caves. One is where he sleeps and does all his daily ablutions and all that. One cave is his cave for meditation. So he generally spends the whole day in the meditation cave. So a couple of times we have gone, and the moment he hears, hey, Puttaparthi ki log aa gaye hain, he'll say, he's so happy to see people from Puttaparthi. So he'll invite us into his cave and we will be sitting with him. Okay, and so we thought he does this to everybody. Okay, but he will say, so he'll ask, aap kahan se aa gaye? Somebody else comes, main Delhi se aaya. Haan, theek hai, prasad do, chalo. He doesn't entertain anybody else. But if you say you are a Sai devotee, okay, main Bhagwan ke isme come in. Because he says, you Sai devotees, I see a different sparkle in you. He's not a Swami. Of course, there's a photograph of Swami in his altar. Along with Hanumanji, there is one Swami photograph also. So when we had met him, we had asked him. So all of these Swamijis, they are not like me. Okay, they are not like yappers. They will just be sitting, and you just sit with them. Okay, so you can't hold it, right? If all of us were just to sit over here, it's like being in presence of Dakshinamurti, it's like kind of a killing, deathly silence. So I just asked him, Swamiji, आप क्या साधना करते हैं? जो मेरे गुरु ने बोला है, मैं वही करता हूँ. Whatever my guru has told me, I do that. So, okay. So हम क्या साधना करें? जो आपके गुरु ने बोला है, वो आप. Whatever your guru has told you, you do. Okay, so then he says, but can you share with me? No. He says, no, that I cannot do. Your sadhana is what your guru has given. My sadhana is what my guru has given me. He would say that. And that kind of gave more and more clarity, because we want to know, that fast life that we have, right? That 2-minute Maggie, and it's so much of that is in our mind that 2 भजन में निपटा सकता हूं तो निपटा दूंगा. If I can finish it off in 2 minutes, let's just do it. Let's get self-realization out of the way. Right? Because I want to achieve something else. That's why I made that point before. There's nothing to achieve after self-realization. Right? So it's about that. It is about finding your own little thing. So what I generally do is, my prayer to Swami is, Swami, I'll just do what I want to do. If you think this is not right for me, put obstacles. You put obstacles, I will know that I'm not on the right track. So then I'll do plan B, plan C, or I'll go on a different way. So my prayer every day is, Swami, I will do what I'm supposed to do, because you have always told me you do your duty. So the answer to me was, no duty chahi. You do your duty. Okay? And the strength will come. So if I'm not doing my duty, then you put obstacles. You stop me from doing that. So then I'll know, oh, Swami does not want me to do this. So then I will do something else. So that is how I generally, I'm sharing with you. And I generally, Namasmarana is like my favorite pastime to do. Okay? Like anything happens, I would always, say that have a beautiful conversation with Swami. Just blast him and, bang him with whatever you want, because he's there for that. He's our personal God. There is no other God as personal as him. Right? Bash him up, fight with him, shout with him, argue with him, enjoy with him, celebrate with him, just do everything, do it with Swami. Okay, why the hell is this happening, Swami? You are responsible. Tell him. He cannot take, he also has an ego, right? His ego is the biggest ego in the universe. So he gets pained then, he gets hurt. So then he'll start doing good things for you. Because, right, he loves to be, that is why, in Bible, that's why he's called the jealous God. Because he's jealous the moment his child goes running behind the world. The Lord is asking, what is lacking in me? Mere mein kya kami hai? Why are you not running behind me? Why are you running behind the world? He's jealous of the world, it seems. Very beautiful. I felt this was such a beautiful thing. Why he's called the jealous God is because he's jealous that after giving you everything, I have given you and you are running behind the world. Run behind me. Right? So that is how I would say. But you can discover your own little, and it will be a very personal thing. It will just be between you and Swami and nobody else.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So since you had such a close physical relationship with Swami, so after he left his body, how do you kind of deal with that? Like, do you always feel his presence? Do you how do you?
See, so Swami, very early in my life itself, Swami kind of let me know that that's not a Swami that. So I always had two Swamis. Okay, and they would very often conflict with each other. One is my own personal internal Swami. And that Swami loved me and continues to love me and will continue to love me. This external Swami, he had little issues with me. Okay, means there were days when he wouldn't speak to me and I didn't like that Swami at that time. So there were days when he wouldn't talk to me. In fact, why days? A majority of my life was when he did not talk to me. Okay, I'm not one of those Sathya Sai people who lived with Swami, right? Believe me. So let me share something. What Satyajit Bhaiya told. Okay, and this is so powerful. So Satyajit Bhaiya, we all know who Satyajit is. He stayed, yeah.
I don't know.
So Satyajit Bhaiya is like 5 years senior to me. And he lived with Swami in Swami's Yajur Mandir and Purna Chandra and you name it. Okay, he lived with Swami. He served Swami physically till Swami left from 1998. Okay, Swami, he went inside Purna Chandra and then eventually into Yajur Mandir. Okay, since 1998 till 2011. Right, ask him how difficult it would have been. Somebody who you see every day. When that person is no more, right, then that kind of hits. He was telling that in 1998 when he went inside, we call it like he went inside to serve, that is, he moved to Purna Chandra Auditorium. He moved as Swami's co-resident, right? So Swami would sleep on the bed and he'll be sleeping down. He was telling that for 1,000 days after he moved in, Swami didn't speak to him. Can you imagine that? So when he told us that, I said, come on, don't gas. I mean, how can Swami not speak to you? You are with him inside. And he says, believe me, brother, I'm telling you, Swami did not speak to me for 1,000 days. That is close to 3 years. So I said, but I mean, that doesn't make sense, because we saw you sitting with Swami in the car, and whenever Swami would go to Vrindavan or back from Vrindavan to Parthi, you were the one who was seated next to Swami in the car. He said, I will tell you, during those times, when Swami would drive for 3.5 hours from Bangalore to Parthi and Parthi to Bangalore, Swami wouldn't speak a word with him for 3.5 hours. Isn't that worse? I mean, you're sitting next to this guy and this guy treats you like furniture piece. Like a glass case looking through you. Right? He went through that for 1,000 days. And he said that his greatest learning experience was during those 1,000 days. Not when Swami spoke to him. Because he said every night he would sleep and he would cry because Swami was not speaking to him. Okay, and he would say, maybe tomorrow is my last day. Tomorrow Swami will ask me to go, leave. Because that's how it has happened with all other people who have been very, very close to Swami in Swami's servitude. So just one fine day, for no reason, Swami will say, today enough. Ippudu chalu. Means you can go. Swami, why? You will not even have a chance to ask him why. That's it. No questions asked. Means, because you never asked him, why did you take me on service, right? So there are no contractual obligations. It's not like an employee saying, why did you fire me, man? He says, yeah, because I never gave you an offer letter. So I can fire you at will. So you never asked why I was close to you. So don't ask me why you are far away from me. Right? So he was saying every night he would think, maybe tomorrow is my last day. And then he would say, so if I go from here, then what will I become? So he said, I'll probably go back to Bombay. He was from Bombay. And then I'll become maybe some banker. And then, I'll do very well in the bank. And then I'll get promotion. Then I'll become this and I'll become that. I'll become vice president and then vice, etc., etc. And then you would say, yeah, but you know what? It's such a horrible life it will be without Swami. Right? So he said, and he used to sleep off. He said during that whole period, he lived several lives. He lived several scenarios. Every night he would build a scenario saying, maybe I'll become this. And they said, no, but that does not compare to this. There is nothing in comparison to what I'm getting now. So I don't want to become that. I don't want to become this. I don't want to become this. I don't want to become this. And slowly but surely, that absolute internal, faith in that, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be with Swami. That kind of kept getting strengthened and, solidified, concretized. And so, I personally believe that when Swami does not speak to you, and when you are not in Swami's physical presence, those are actually the best times of your life. Because that is when the churning process starts. That is when the questioning, Swami, am I close to you? Am I close to you? Is this what you want me to do? Because believe me, when you are physically close to Swami, he'll be talking to you probably the most mundane things. He'll come and say, what did you eat today? Chutney, how did this chutney? So, our Vice Chancellor would say, so Vice Chancellor, right, he's a, what should I say, he's like an official figure. So, Swami would sign off on all the checks, all the trust checks. So, he needs to take the checks to Swami to get it signed. So, sometimes he would want extra money for something. Okay, so he would want to make a presentation to Swami, kind of justifying why he wants that extra money. So, Swami won't even give him an opportunity. Okay. So, we wanted some consumable. We wanted some item for the institute, the Department of Chemistry, not me, but the Department of Chemistry. So, they kept asking, sir, we want this. So, he said, wait, I'm not getting a chance, to ask Swami. And we were like, what? Every evening you're going and having dinner with Swami? He says, yeah, what to do? I sit over there and I want to ask him about, this equipment that we want to buy. And Swami will say, how is chutney? Do you know what it is made of? Okay, and then you have to, Swami, I think it's made of coconut and this. No, actually, if you put that more and this less, it will get another taste. And this is how the conversation will go. And so at that time you will be like frustrated, wondering, okay, but Swami knows best. right? He knows exactly when what has to happen. So you just go with it. Just go with the flow. And at the right time, suddenly out of the blue, Anil Kumar sir, Swami's translator, for his own daughter's wedding, he says, probably I'm the worst father any child could have. Because he was with Swami, his daughter's wedding was fixed, Swami knew about it, and he never got a chance to say, to tell Swami or remind Swami, Swami, I need to go. I need to go for my daughter's wedding. The whole organization, he says, was sitting and getting everything ready in Guntur. Okay, and his wife, she was like banging him on the phone, saying, tell Swami. He says, I tried to tell. Okay, so he says, at least for Kanyadanam you have to come. Nobody else can do Kanyadanam. Means we will do everything. We'll put up the mandap, we will feed the people, we will get jewelry, we will do all the purchases. At least for the ceremony you have to come. He said, I have told Swami, Swami knows what is best. Okay, so just see this. So he says, week after week, the day was coming closer and Swami wouldn't talk anything, about this to Anil Kumar sir. Previous evening, the next morning is the wedding. The previous evening, Swami says, hey Anil Kumar, what are you doing here? Your daughter's wedding is tomorrow. He says, yeah, I know. And Swami says, take this. Okay, Swami gives him prasadam and sends him by Swami's car. In Swami's car, Swami sends him for the wedding. And after all, the rest is history, so to say. So Swami knows what time to do everything. Once we get that, that faith that he knows best. Yeah, he chose to move away from us physically for a particular reason. And let us accept it. Right? Accept. So Swami would say, love my uncertainty. You have often heard this. Far from loving his uncertainty, we don't even accept his uncertainty. We dislike his uncertainty because we want certainty in our life. Right? So, how will you know Swami's presence in your life? I can tell you one. When there's uncertainty in your life, know that Swami is around. Means when things start to get murky and confusing, now you have come. It's a beautiful exercise to do, The moment when there's a lot of chaos happening in your life, just step back and say, now you have come into my life. Enjoy that. Love that uncertainty. Because then you know that his plans are in place. They are in work. He is doing everything behind the scenes. Because we are just not capable of doing it. Because I did this, but this happened. I tried this, but that happened. Right? How many times in our lives have we seen that effort has got nothing to do with outcome? Sometimes this much effort and that much outcome. Sometimes that much effort and this much outcome. So effort and outcome have pretty much almost nothing. Very rarely do they have any proportional relationship. Direct proportional relationship. It's often, that means there is some other play at hand. That play is his play. Right? So coming back to, after how do you deal with Swami's physical absence is, Swami is not physically, he's not absent at all. Yeah, he is here. Right? Just hold on to that Swami. Right? Otherwise, tell me, all the saints that we know in our history, did they have physical proximity with Swami? Or with any God? And here is oftentimes when Swami would hear Tyagaraja songs or Mirabai songs, which we all would sing, and then he will have tears in his eyes and he would be like so much in bliss. No, this thought I got, Swami, you know what? You made an avataric blunder. Your avatar was wrong. Why? Because when Tyagaraja was around on this earth, that is the time you should have taken birth, no? Yes or no? Right? That would have been the best time for you as well as for him. Right? He is singing to his God is loving his devotee. Kya baat hai? When Mirabai was around in this world, you should have taken birth in Rajasthan. Avataric blunder. You came now when those people are not around. And then you ask us to sing their songs, and then you think of them and cry. What an hour,
But don't you also see that more as kind of, if you look at Saguna Pasana, Nirguna Pasana, the yearning is much more. Obviously, even with Swami's kind of, physical presence to not, obviously he's a Hridaya Nivasi, but then it's very different.
It's exactly the point. That in fact, and this is the point that Swami himself told in our Kodaikanal, in 2005, I had the golden opportunity to go with Swami to Kodai. Kodaikanal is like a summer retreat. I think I told you about it. So it's like a hill station. So only about 35 boys will be there. And so there was 2005. So Swami had already fallen, and he would take somebody's support to walk. So every day, he would take somebody else's support. It was like a chance for each one of us. So today Swami is you. So then we get to hold Swami's hand, and it's a beautiful chance. So one day he had one of my brothers. He got a chance to hold Swami's hand, and so he's taking Swami, and as he's waving through all of us and taking Swami, Swami is looking at all of us and telling, "Lucky, no?" Swami is telling us, looking at that boy, "Manchi chance, very good chance." Okay, So because all of us actually, that's the thought in my mind, today lucky fellow, yeah. But Swami is only kind of, very good chance, right? So all of us just smiled back at Swami, and Swami said, and suddenly then Swami's face became serious, and Swami said, "Kani iti mukhyam kadu." Swami said, "But this is not important." That is, holding Swami's hand is not important. Swami said, "Yearning to hold my hand is more important than holding my hand." Because, and just see the beauty of that, yearning to hold Swami's hand, everybody can do. Holding Swami's hand, only few people can do. And God can never be partial. Right? God can never be, He cannot say that, what, I like your singing little more, so I'll give you more chance.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Sathya Sai Hare, Bhakta Jana Samrashak, Bhakta Jana Samrashak, Pati Maheshwara, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Shashi Bhagana Shri Kara, Sarva Pranapati, Swami Sarva Pranapati, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Avartava, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Mata Pita Guru Daivam, Mariyantayunive, Swami Mariyantayunive, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nagendra Shayana, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Omkara Rupa Ujjasi Ujjai Mahadeva, Sathya Sai Mahadeva, Mangala Harati Anduko, Mangala Harati Anduko, Mandara Giridhari, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Narayana Narayana, Om Satya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Om Satya Narayana Narayana, Satya Narayana Narayana, Om Jai Sadgurudeva, Narayana Narayana, Om Satya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Om Satya Narayana Narayana, Satya Narayana Narayana, Om Jai Sadgurudeva, Narayana Narayana, Satya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Satya Narayana Narayana, Satya Narayana Narayana. Om Jai Sadgurudeva. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति